This old guy is talking again. Today it's Diet Coke. Now here's the thing. It used to be in my younger days that we had a race each year to see if Coke was the most profitable or the Pepsi was. And this was very important to people living off the dividends of stocks. Well, Coke still thinks they're the best, but Pepsi's the one with all of the snacks that people want. And I believe that includes Cheetos, which is my favorite. Okay, so we're back together, and there's a reason why I'm back tonight, and not knowing what's going to come out of my mouth to make you all keep listening. But anyhow, the reason I am, sort of made a promise. I got a couple people writing to me yesterday, or at least yesterday and one other day, and they said they subscribed. Well, I don't expect to be good enough for anybody to want to know what I'm going to be on next. But I think I told the person last night, I don't know her real name or his real name, but I said I'll try to put on a video each day, regardless of how few people may want to tune in. The reason I say that is because I don't have a focus. I've got sort of a focus tonight, and it is, if I had to live again. If I had to live again, would I do a whole lot of things different? Now, I feel like you may have asked yourself that too. And here's the thing. I don't know, because we are born with DNA. That's a substance that everybody has. Everybody has a different, unique DNA. That's how they identify people that kill someone. There's a DNA left on the person that's dead, matches another person that actually did the killing. Tonight it's Diet Coke. Last night it's Diet Pepsi. So DNA may control your temper. DNA may control your ability to love, your ability to do just about anything that is good or bad. Heaven help us who have the bad temper and bad way of seeing things, and it's being controlled by our DNA that we inherited from our parents. Yes, I do believe we can change. In fact, I do know we can change the outcome of our actions. Not that we reverse the DNA, it's that we refuse to do what the DNA is telling us to do if it's bad. And then we work hard, maybe very hard, maybe go to workshops or see a specialized counselor that can help you reshape your personality. Okay, I say that having studied that field all my life. And the friends you know that have a heavy drinking problem or possibly have floated into drug use, that DNA could have seeped in, or did seep in some cases. And once they take a drink of alcohol, they're a goner. And of course, alcohol, whether you have been told this or not, is considered a drug. So this includes all the drugs as well as alcohol. I've known more people that killed themselves from drinking alcohol. They call it getting courage. You get enough courage drinking alcohol to where they'll kill themselves. And let me let you know why I know this. I've been a counselor all my life. Kentucky, I was a psychologist. Over here in Indiana, marriage and family therapist and addictions therapist in both states, Kentucky and Indiana. And the worse a person comes in needing help, the more likely their father, unfortunately, is in prison. And even while I'm seeing a few, they go to prison too, the sons and daughters. Okay, so my focus tonight is actually related. I wrote down a sentence, which I rarely do. Why I want to relive my life. Do you wonder that? Why you want to relive your life? What you would do differently? I bet some of you would love to do things differently, and you would say, if I'd have only done this, this would have happened, a different outcome. If I hadn't have bought this stock and bought this other stock, I'd be rich. That actually happened to me, by the way. That happened with two stocks. One of them was both of them were in Columbus. Irwin National Bank, RWIN National Bank, and the other one was Cummins Engines. And I was doing counseling there because they were laying people off, and if they wanted to cry or complain or whatever, I was there. So the person in charge of Cummins, they call them comptrollers. They deal with the money part. He said, "Look, we use only Irwin National Bank, and we're not going to let it fail. But it's really low right now." And I'm talking about less than $10, maybe less than $5. But Cummins was high, but only about half of what it used to be. Well, what do you think I picked? I picked Irwin National Bank, and I watched it go down to zero. And I lost about $8,000 because I kept buying as it went down, knowing that the more shares I got, buying it at a low price when it went back up, I could be wealthy. Well, what happens the opposite? That's when the banking crisis happened in 2007, 8, and 9. And it was one that was placed on the list to close and change names the next day. So I lost that completely. I had friends losing money and the savings and loan here in Madison, Indiana, that they closed. Now, having said that, a friend of mine, he may even be watching, we were talking about his brother. His brother was there. We were talking about medical devices and kidney. If you have kidney problems, you have to go in and have it flushed out and every day or so many times a week. I'm trying to think of the name. I'm having some slow moments right now. Dialysis, kidney dialysis. And we had a kidney dialysis here in town. Didn't seem to attract me. But I remember Chuck's brother saying the company he worked for, which was also a kidney dialysis company that was different, was going to be buying up other companies. Well, Chuck, I think you sold too soon and rebought and sold too soon again. But here's me. I never bought it. And it did buy up all the other, or most of the other kidney dialysis companies. And he and I would have been rich if he'd have just put a couple $1,000s in that stock, because it was running low, like $3. Can't think of the name of it, but it wouldn't be hard to find out. It's just that I can't keep up with everything. I'm in gold now. Chuck's in gold, and gold has been going up 200% over the last 52 weeks. Gold miners, not gold. But gold miners stocks. These are the people that are digging it up. If you buy the gold symbol, GLD, it's not going to do a third that well. But see, the gold company's got to get it from the miners, and the miners are digging it up and making a killing for the stockholders. So I just mentioned that because there was several times that if I'd have made the right choice, just like there's been times if you'd have made the right choice, you're in a fork. You got to pick one side or the other. If you pick the wrong side, ain't gonna be good. If you pick the right side, you might end up with $1 or $2 million. So, what would I do if I had it to do over again? Well, I'd be much more careful than I was then. I could spend this whole time talking about stocks because that's the only way I make my living besides Social Security, but anyhow I won't, because most people listening probably are more excited about other things, such as making videos on YouTube, such as communicating on Facebook. I once thought I was going to be a millionaire. The first time when I wrote poetry books, I wrote about somewhere between 12 and 15 books, and this was in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, and for some reason the Vietnam War was pushing the books. Vietnam War, what I was told, the reason why my book sold, and other poets that wrote love poetry books, the reason why they sold was because their girlfriends were sending the books over to Vietnam to their lovers or their sweethearts, or they're the same thing, aren't they? Or their wives. Their husbands. Oh, So it's getting late, isn't it? Let me get some more Pepsi. It's Coke. Another slip. So anyhow, Chuck has, my friend Chuck, I'm sure he's a millionaire now because he was the first to go into the gold miners. And I called him up about a few weeks ago and I said, you know anything about this gold miner stock that keeps coming up for me to see? And he said, yeah. He says, I'm in all gold miner stock. Okay, I'm going to start selling off everything else that I own, and I'm going to every day put some amount in one of the gold miner stocks. There's several. I'm in 4, and they've done nothing but go up. Today they really went up, and I say that because there's so many ways. If you look back and redid your life, and I doubt if you're going to get that chance, we look at the decisions that we make, and we think later, if I'd have only done this, or if I'd only done that, how would it be different? Now I'm going to get real personal. This just jumped into my brain. So don't take it personally. We're going to talk about relationships for a minute. Now, out of the two that you loved the most before you married, I'm talking basically the married people or people that have chosen to live together forever that don't get married. Somewhere along the line, you had to make choices to leave some for other guys to date, and you had to decide which ones you were going to continue dating until it came down to the final one. Now, I realize a lot of you aren't married or aren't engaged or are not even considering a partner. And I'm one that believes that not everybody should have children, not everybody should get married. So I'll share that with you right off the bat. I'm not trying to force any belief whatsoever. It took me a long time to get married, about 27 years. It was heavy choice. It did come down to 2 people that I was dating. 2 people. You got to choose one if you're going to get married. Unless you're in the fundamental Mormon church, and they have lots of wives. I'm talking about the fundamental in Utah, not the Seventh Day, what they call themselves. We got one here in Madison, the Latter Day Saints Church. They've gone more toward the Protestant view, but not multiple marriages. In fact, they don't want anything to do with that Utah fundamental group. The head of the fundamental group was on the, I think, #1 most wanted group, most wanted list by the whatever group, FBI or whatever. They finally caught him. No, we're not talking about someone that's a killer. We're talking about head of a church. But it just happened to be breaking the rules by allowing their his group of people, congregation or whatever you want to call it, to marry as many people as they wanted to. Man's choice. And I've watched it on TV. I've watched them being interviewed on TV, the Fundamental Church. I've seen tears coming down the women's eyes because of a man married more girls that would usually be younger, and they'd spend more time with them than they would with the first ones they married. I wonder why. So they've distanced themselves. The head of that group, as far as I know, is still in prison. And the Latter-day Saints Church is considered a little bit more toward the Christian view, because in the Mariite Inn, which was started by a Mormon, he had first put the Mormon Book of Mormon, in each room. And I've noticed recently, not that I can afford going there very often to Mariite Inns, but they have both the regular Bible, King James Version, and the Mormon Bible. So there's been a little coming together to try to gain more people to believe in, I was going to say believe in their way, but I don't know that's enough to cause a person to believe everything that they believe. Okay, so I got into that because I'm chasing rabbits right now in my basement. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing the rest of this week that may affect you. And it may take me more than 1 week. I'm going to clean up this mess down here. I might even try to make it look more like a real studio should look. And my first step was to get into this room so it was bigger, and to buy these hats. I think I bought 10 different hats so that those that judge me by my haircut or by hairstyle or by being bald, whatever I am, won't be too hard to find out if you try. I have this toss back and forth. Do I close this thing down? And that's why I was basically off for a couple weeks. Do I close it down? Who wants to hear an old guy sit here and talk about his life, what he's gone through, what he wished he'd have done, what he wished he hadn't have done? Who wants to hear that? Well, because I didn't think anybody wanted to hear it, I just cut it off. Just stop it, like I did on Facebook. I'm on Facebook if you want to see what I used to look like and maybe what I look like now. But if you go to photos, I noticed they put poems. I had put some of my poems from my earlier books on Facebook, and somehow Mr. Facebook or Mrs. Facebook decided they needed to be in the photo section. So if you want to read how much I was craving love in my teens, go to Facebook under my name, and heck, if you want to be my friend, send a message to me. Yeah, send a message to me and tell me that you're going to send a request for a friend. I've said this several times, and I'll share with you I don't get any requests. Free flowing. Free flowing. That's what I do. I hate writing. How did I ever make it through the second grade or high school? You may have already caught a video where I signed up for the military because I was failing out of college. If you go back a few videos, you'll see how I felt. I fell into passing college. It's almost by that title, how I failed into, there's a bug in here, how I passed into going through college and graduate school. It's quite interesting. I'll brag for a minute. If my mother hadn't been a teacher, I'd have dropped out in high school at 16. I hated it. I hated school. But she wasn't going to let me quit. I didn't even ask. Kept going. And then I decided I wanted to be a psychologist. Well, I want to be a psychologist since grade school. It was a climb. It was a long, long climb, which I tell about in that video. And this bug down here is about ready to worry me to death, and if he doesn't watch it, he's going to be nailed against the wall. That's the DNA that's angry that's in me, that we started off with. So I get through college. It was very tough. I'm not going to go through it again. I had to skip colleges, go to different colleges, different graduate schools to get to where I wanted to be able to be licensed as a psychologist and other mental health licenses that I have. I'm not going to go over it. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but honest to goodness, didn't think I could even make it through college. Because the first semester I made an F in French, a D- in history, and I won't even go over the other grades. Second semester, I ended up making, I think, a D- in one of my majors, statistics of psychology. What's statistics of psychology? Why do I need to know about math and psychology for? So, Did I get out taking it? No, I took it from another college. I got through it all, and goals were accomplished. Perhaps it was because the DNA pushed me. It was embedded that I would be a psychologist. And in spite of falling on my face, in spite of almost going to Vietnam War to get out of going to college, because it was going on at the same time, the only thing I didn't do was take the physical. That's how close I was to going to the Vietnam War. Well, I'm sure I would have gone to the Vietnam War. That's how close I was to entering the military. Now there is another case of two choices. We talked about that a few minutes ago. I had a choice to go to another college, which I wasn't doing any good at the first college, so why would I do any good? Why would another college let me in? And there was another path. Sign up for the military and go to Vietnam. So when I started off this program saying that if we had it to do over again, many times there would be a chance where we'd come down to two choices. And whichever choice you take, you live with. Oh, you can undo it and wreck your life and lose money if you go through 3 or 4 divorces. I see people, I've seen people that's gone through 3 or 4 divorces. I know movie stars, not personally, that's gone through 4 or more divorces. Some of my favorite movie stars, and I don't have many, about 4. Richard Duvall, the guy that played Sling Blade, what's his name? Very popular guy. He's coming out with another movie soon. He was the one that came out with Bad Santa. When you get this many birthdays, like I have, it's hard to remember things at the spur of the moment. And then when I end this thing, all that I couldn't recall will rush to me. Sure will. I wanted to thank you all for hanging in, listening to me. I think there's a special type of person that listens to me because I follow the comments. And there's one guy that's convinced I'm going to save the world, that I got the wisdom. I've got the wisdom and I'm going to save the world. I think before I got on tonight, I told him I was working on it. I'm working on it. So, and this is funny. When I get this done, without doing anything except uploading it, see, this isn't live. It's live, but it won't be live when you see it. It'll just be a film. So I'll push this button that has X, and I just did it because it was free, and it uploaded my videos. And someone that hated Donald Trump says, "You are on X." Yeah, I said, yeah, it was free. She said, do you know what X stands for? I said, no. That's Donald Trump's whatever. Oh. So it's me and Donald Trump hanging there together now, are we? Me and Donald Trump, we're on X. Did he really start X, or was it done by Google? I have no idea. If someone offers me something free, if it's not poisonous, I may do it. So there I am. I'm on Facebook. It's free. I'm on here. It's free. I know I'm not going to be one of these superstar YouTube people that's like my friend, if you're listening, Steve Tibbs and Carol Tibbs. You millionaires. I don't know any other millionaires that's got to be millionaires on YouTube. And you said it took about 7 years. Now we're going to be eating together, aren't we, on Thanksgiving? Well, I thought that was wonderful that you would associate with someone who only had 500 subscribers. 500 subscribers. And what do you have, millions? Yeah. If you don't know him, there's a bug on my screen again. If you don't know him, Steve Tibbs, I want you to, when you get a chance, go to The Life and Sad Ending of. Now look, a lot of people's duplicated him, so he took The Life and Sad Ending of and the person's name. He took the person's name off. There were so many people imitating him that his income did leave $1 million a year for a while and dipped down to zero because someone accused him of copyright violation, which was not true at all, but took about a year to get back on. So he's up and running again. And Steve, if you hear me, hello. Okay. I guess I deserve the title Crazy Jim. You take care. Thanks for watching. If you've watched this far, I doubt if you have, but if you have, God bless you, and I'll send blessings to you right now. You take care.